Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be continuing this Halloween 2 kit from Five Below. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are continuing part 2, making Michael Myers from the Halloween movie franchise. The kit calls it Halloween 2. I don't know why it's specifically Halloween 2, but anyway, we had we had I combined complete and finished the head, and we ran out of the white. Comment below, let me know if that happened to you, but you can totally tell the difference. It's a thicker yarn that I had too, so you have a nice tight stitches here, and then they're bigger because of the yarn down here. So a little disappointing about that. And then I have done the 2 arms. I completed the second one off camera. So we have that good to go. We made the bloody machete with the blood spatter. So this one is good to go. And then we have the neck piece. And that was a little interesting, I found. A little extra piece there. So today we are going to be doing the legs, body, and hair. Now the legs is going to be a little complicated. It's going to be crocheted into the body. So I've done these before. It's a little like intimidating, but hopefully this video can help. So in this video, it's only a supplement to the kit. If you want to get this Mike Myers done, I suggest you go get the kit at Five Below, or maybe you can check their website. I will be going over new stitches at least 3 times step by step, and then everything else I'm going at my normal pace, unless I see something in instructions that need extra like explanation, because some of these kits are pretty difficult. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, just lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so let's go straight ahead into making the legs. We're going to start off with some black here. And what we're going to do is the magic ring. So let me show you how to do that. You're going to take a piece of your black yarn here, and we're going to wrap it around your finger at least 3 times with a little bit of overage like this. So you can take your middle finger and place it on there. Then you can take this opportunity to straighten up and tighten up a little bit these strands, because I'm going to stick my crochet hook underneath 3 of those strands. Then I'm going to take the hook and hook this strand and pull it underneath these 2. So let's do that now. Okay, and then once we're in this type of a position, then we're going to want to yarn over, and that's putting this feeder yarn over the hook. So yarn over, and then we're going to pull this strand through this loop like that, and then you can let go of your middle finger, and then you can take off the rings off your index finger. Alright, so from here we're going to do our single crochet stitches, so let me show you how to do that. We're going to stick our hook into the magic ring. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop so that we have 2 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So here we have our first single crochet stitch. The top of the stitch looks like a braid. We have a loop on this side and a loop on the other side. This is what it looks like sideways. This is a dark color, so it might be hard to see. Let's do this again. Stick your hook into the magic ring. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So here we have another single crochet stitch. The top of the stitch looks like a braid. Here's the other one down here. The braid consists of 2 loops, 1 here and 1 there. And here's a side profile of it. Let's do 1 more. put your hook into the magic rings. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop for 2 loops. We're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches. It looks like a braid. We have a loop on this side, a loop on the other side, and then here's the side profile. So rewind this as many times as you need until you're comfortable making the single crochet stitch, but I'm going to move ahead and complete the rest of the single crochet stitches required for round 1. Okay, and once you complete all your single crochet stitches, I'm going to show you how to close off the magic ring. So they call it magic because you start with a big hole and then you can close it down to no hole. So overhand your hook. I normally hold it underhand. This kind of limits the amount of pressure you put and tension that you have in your hands. So if you have a large project, it'll take a bit before your before fatigue sets into your hands and you start getting cramps. But anyway, so I'm going to overhand the hook this time. I'm going to grab the stitches down here. So there's stitches close to the hook. I'm going to grab the ones that are farther away from the hook. And I'm going to end up pulling this excess piece here. So we're going to be pulling this to see which one of these 2 loops goes into the magic ring first. So let's pull this excess piece. Once you see movement, you can stop pulling. Alright, so I stopped here. This one looks like is the one that's going into the ring first. We want to pull the bottom half out, so don't pull from up here, pull from down here, and you're going to start seeing the other loop start to go into the magic ring. We're going to pull out this lower end until that whole loop is gone into the ring. Then we're going to pull the excess piece and make this loop disappear into the ring. So let's start pulling that. And then once that disappears, you can always get just a little bit more pulled out. So I'm going to take this excess piece, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and a little up, like at a 45, and just pull it. You're going to feel a little bit of give when you do that, but you don't have to pull it too tight. But now there'll be no hole in there. So what I'm going to do is take a marker, and I definitely highly recommend that you get yourself a pack of these. These are going to help you keep track of your stitch count and rows or rounds that you do. So I'm going to take the stitch marker and I'm going to slip it just under the braid of the last stitch we made. So just under it. You don't want to pierce it. You should be able to see right through there. We're going to close up this, and then we're going to move on to the next round. So for the next round, we are going to be doing increasing stitches. So let me show you how to do that. So an increasing stitch basically is doing 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So from the hook, count the number of stitches that you're supposed to have in round 1, and then stick your hook into that last stitch there. Then, like I said, we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this 1 stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's 1. Insert your hook back into that same stitch. Okay, the same one we just used. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Alright, and then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2 loops. So we have the 2 single crochet stitches in that 1 stitch. So let me show you this again. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That's 1 single crochet stitch. Let's do another. Stick your hook into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches in that one stitch. Let's do this one more time with you guys. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's one. Let's do another one. Stick your hook into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have again 2 single crochet stitches coming out of one. What I'm going to do now is just complete the rest of the increasing stitches, and then we'll come back in for the next round. Alright, I'm going to remove the marker and put it back under the last stitch we made. Okay. And unless you're trying to keep track of the rounds, you can leave the markers in there. But I only keep them in there if it's like a repetitive multiple round type deal, because those are harder for me to keep track of. But anyway, we're going to do round 3. So in round 3, you're going to see a couple of the instructions in parentheses. So, and times by a number. So when you see something like that, basically what it's saying is to complete those stitches, and then you're going to repeat it that number of times. So let's do 3. So for example, we're going to do a single crochet stitch and an increasing stitch. Okay, so now we just have to go back and do it again. So do a single crochet stitch and an increasing stitch. Okay, one more time with you guys. We have to do a single crochet stitch and an increasing stitch. Alright, so from here I'm just going to complete the rest of the round. Oh my gosh, I ran out of black. Oh, I'm gonna have to use my own black, but I'm gonna complete the rest of the round. Wow, how crazy is that? Oh my goodness. Okay, this kit's pretty bad because the head wasn't even close. I ran out of yarn way before. So if there's something to be said about this kit, is that they are not generous with their yarn. So I'm going to use my own yarn here. Luckily it was just sitting there, probably because I have to pull it out every now and then. I think the gauge yarn is pretty similar. But let me just tie this together. So if you have that issue, comment below, let me know. I would love to know if it's just me, because I feel like my stitches are fairly tight. I know as a beginner they're not going to be tight at all. They might be. You're either, I think as a beginner, you're either really super tight or you're not. It's really hard to just get, and I feel like what I do is kind of average. But anyway, I just tied these two together and hope for the best. Alright, let's finish the rest of this round. But I'm definitely going to have to invest in more black and white yarn, because those are the two colors that I end up needing a lot. And I finally got that white spool from the Dollar Tree, so I should definitely just get a legit spool from, you know, a hobby store. Anyway, we're going to remove the marker and place it under the last stitch we made. Okay, so now we're going to do rounds 4 through 5. Well, 2 rounds. So this will be round 4, and then we're going to use another marker for round 5. It's pretty much the same instructions, and we're doing all the single crochet stitches. So let's do that. But what I'm not gonna do is the last single crochet stitch on the 5th round, because we are going to we're gonna change up the transition. Sorry, couldn't find the word. We're gonna transition into navy, the navy color. So, like I said, these markers are so helpful. I tend to do a lot of things, I guess filming, especially while I'm doing this. So I'm not really keeping count of stitches or rounds. These stitch markers make it a great way to help me keep track of what round I'm on. And then if I do decide to count my stitches at the end, it's easily clear to see where I'm supposed to end up with the marker in place. So again, I highly recommend you get yourself a pack. I've kept mine from a lot of kits that I do, so I've never technically haven't paid for a pack of markers, but I did pay for the kits, so you know, I think it would be just cheaper to buy the markers. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to complete the last round here, and then I'm going to show you how to transition into colors. Now, the legs, it says the first leg we're going to fasten off. I actually already did the first leg off camera. The second leg you have to crochet into the first leg, so it sounds a bit complicated, like I said, but once you figure out how to do it, it's not that bad. So let's just finish up this round, and we're going to transition to the navy, and then after we do a few more rounds with that, I'm going to show you how to crochet it together, because the legs are going to automatically turn into the body. Sometimes, like with the arms, they have you build it separate, but sometimes, other times, they have you build the legs into the body, which I think is great, just because, aside from the difficulty of it, just because you don't have to worry about tying knots, doing an extra magic ring that takes up a little bit of waste on the yarn. As you can see, there's, you know, a good amount of waste there. So here's the last single crochet stitch that we're going to do the single crochet stitch on. So we're going to pull the hook really out there, and that's just so we don't lose the stitch. Set that aside. I'm going to take the navy and we're going to cast on with the slip knot. So take your ring, pinky and thumb, and we're going to hold this pretty tightly on the end here. Then you're going to take your index and middle finger and hold it apart. Then grab your crochet hook, lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to get this loop around your hook. You can slide your hook up and down. Now what you want to do is slide your hook down to your thumb, take your middle finger on your right hand, and just put a pressure point right where it crosses. And then we're going to let go of our left hand. Gather up some feeder yarn, re-pinch the end here. We're going to try to eliminate or prevent too much waste. I like to save as much as the yarn. As you can see, they don't really give you enough anyway, so it's very good to kind of be conscious of that. So re-pinch the end, slide your hook closer to your thumb, and where it crosses, you can just pinch it with your middle finger so that your hook can no longer glide up or down. From here, we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to overhand the hook. I'm going to take this strand and slip it through this loop, right? Then I'm going to re-pinch the end. You don't want to lose that, but I want to push this knot closer to the thumb. So we're going to keep pushing this knot closer to the thumb until the knot can no longer be pushed, because it's pretty tight there. Just to make sure it's nice and snug, I'm going to take my thumb and middle finger and just pull out that excess piece a little bit more. Okay, then grab the knot here and we're going to slide it up through to make it kind of close. I always forget, you want to leave some space here because we are going to slip this off and you don't want to lose the loop. We're going to set this aside for now. Grab your project again, slip your hook through the huge loop. We're going to pull on the feeder yarn to make that loop more manageable, and we're going to complete our last single crochet stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. I'm going to take my ring finger and just hold back the feeder yarn so it's out of the way, like this. Then we're going to take the navy and slip it onto the hook. You can gather up some feeder yarn here. Then we're going to pull the navy through the 2 loops, like that. Okay, so now from here, so we did that clear transition. See, this stitch is all black and now we have navy coming out. So I don't think we're going to go back to black unless you're listening to AC/DC. Pretty old school, but anyway, I'm going to cut about 1 inch or so, and I'm going to tie it around the navy. Now you don't have to tie it super tight, but you want to tie it twice, just so we don't lose any of the black stitching that we did. You know, it might not happen, but you just never know. Okay, so here we are. We completed the last 2 rounds in black, and now we have to do another 3 in navy. So removing these markers, I'm going to put 1 at the last stitch we just made, and this is going to mark round 6. Okay, 6, 7, and 8. Let's get this black out of the way. Okay, then let's grab some navy and let's complete the last 3 rounds. Okay, so I didn't realize how big this Mike Myers is going to be. I think maybe on the box or in the instructions it might say how big this Mike Myers is supposed to be. They usually tell you how big it is so you can kind of gauge for yourself to see how big it will be, and it can gauge where you're supposed to be at as a beginner. I mean, you don't want to make a super tiny Mike Myers. It means something somewhere went wrong. Clearly, stitching very tightly is probably what's going on. Or on the other side of it, if your Mike Myers is huge, it could be adding too many stitches, or it could be doing very loose stitches. It's a lot of things, but it's always nice to see if a kit tells you in advance what to expect and how big this should be. All right, finish the first round. Let's put in a marker. Now your project's always going to want to curl in, so I'm just going to flip this inside out, make it easier to work with, and then the excess pieces we're just going to tuck into the leg. So this is one leg. This is a big leg, but we saw the head. This is going to be a big boy. I think this kit, I want to say it was like $5, either $4 or $5. And I think it's worth it. Now, if only they can just give you enough material, that would be great. Then it would be completely worth it. Anyway. But all the kits that I have done, I have all the animals or characters that I did in camera, and it's like, what do I do with those? So we were looking into doing like a flea market, and those little guys I made like a couple bucks each. But this one here, Mr. Mike Myers, is huge. I might have to charge him a little bit more than the other ones because this is a pretty big doll. I can't wait till this is done. I'm thinking that this isn't going to fit in the camera, so I might have to lay it sideways to fit in frame. But if you're making this as a gift, I think it's a good gift once you get it done. It's a pretty decent size. All right, last one. And for the second leg, we're not gonna fasten off. Like I said, we're gonna build it into the first leg that we made, that I made off camera. So alright, so last stitch here, I'm going to remove my markers and I'm going to replace this last one under the last stitch we made. So stick that just under the braid. Now, if this is your first one, which it should be, you're going to cut about 1 inch or so, yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out, and then tighten it, and that's how you would fasten off the first leg. If this is your second leg, which is mine right now, I'm going to leave it attached, and we're going to move on to the body. The body is going to be in this navy, so I'm just going to grab more of this navy and wrap it all around my finger because that's just how I do it. Alright, so for this next, wait, after completing the second leg, insert the hook and through. Alright, so we're going to do single crochet stitches throughout. And it says we're going to stick our hook into an existing stitch, and I did fasten it off like I told you. So this is just flapping in the wind. I did leave the marker for the last stitch we made. So it says after completing the second leg, we're going to insert the hook into the stitch of the first leg. Oh wait, here we go. Sorry, I skipped a whole chunk. We're going to insert the hook into the next stitch here on the second leg, and then through another stitch on the first leg, and we're going to single crochet that together. So I'm going to just stick this, you know what, let's stick this at the next one like it was the first, like we're still attached to it. So stick it through the next stitch of the second leg you're working on, stick it to a stitch on the first leg, and we're going to single crochet this together. Oops. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, pull up through 2 loops so we get those 2 legs together, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So we did our single crochet stitch and attaching the first leg that we did, so you should have something that looks like this. Okay, So from here, we're going to do single crochet stitches all around. So you know that each leg has a stitch count, so just count that way, including the one that we did now. I'm going to count this back because there's a count that you're supposed to meet, but since we stuck our hook into the next stitch on the second leg and then connected it to the stitch on the first leg, there should be -1 stitch, but they didn't do that. That might be a typo, but in that case I'm just going to add another stitch so that the stitch count is the same as in the instructions. Yeah. So if you do the math about it, for round 9, you do have one less than it's telling you to have at the end. I'm just gonna do an extra single crochet stitch so that it is the same number of stitches that we're supposed to have. I'm gonna remove this marker because we don't need it anymore, and then I'm gonna replace this marker under the last stitch we made. Alright, so this is what it's supposed to look like. So we just crocheted both the legs together. All right, so now we're on round 10, and it's going to be again the single crochet stitches. So I'm going to make sure I keep track of the count so that it's I know if it's going to be the same number as it's asking for now that I've added an extra stitch. All right. Now I'm going to remove the marker and replace it under the last stitch we made. Then we have round 11. So for round 11, we have a new type of stitch we're going to introduce. So let me just gather up some yarn here. Okay. So in round 11, we have a set of parentheses again. And we have to do some single crochet stitches first, so let's do that now. Okay, and then from here we're going to do a decreasing stitch, so let me show you what that is. So the complete opposite of an increasing stitch, what we're going to do is take two stitches and turn them into one. So stick your hook into the next stitch, we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop, so you have two loops on your hook. Then you're going to put your hook into the next stitch over. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So we took 2 stitches and made it into 1. Alright, so now we're going to go back into doing our single crochet stitches, and then we'll do another decreasing stitch. Okay, so from here we're going to do another decreasing stitch. Stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops on our hook. Then we're going to put our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So again, we took 2 stitches and turned it into 1. All right, one more time with you guys. So let's do our single crochet stitches first. All right, so last decreasing stitch I'm going to show you step by step. Into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. Then stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. I'm going to remove this marker and put it under the last stitch we made. All right, and then we're going to do rounds 12 and 13. So for these 2 rounds, in fact, so we know I show you guys things at least 3 times, and I think we've done that so far, and the rest of the body is pretty the same thing. So for round 11, wait, we just did that one. Rounds 12 and 13, we do single crochet stitches, and then it alternates what we've been doing. We have those parentheses instructions, single crochet instructions, parenthesis instructions, single, and so on and so forth. And that's the end of the body. So I'm going to come back in after round 20 and I'm going to show you how to fasten off, and then we can move on to the hair. All right, but it's pretty much the same from here on out. So let's do that. I'm going to do this in silence. I'm back on to let you know that I just ran out of the navy. This is unacceptable. I just cannot. This is bad. I guess there must be talking to different people when it's concerning crochet kits, because the knit kits are not too bad with material. This is bad. So I'm just gonna tie this to my black, because I think I have a blue, but it's royal blue, and we can't have you know, Mike Myers wear a clean outfit, so I can't use that one. I'm just gonna use the black. But on top of that, it looks like I only have rows 18 through 20 left, so that's 3 more rows, and it looks like this is the waist. Is this going to be the whole body? I feel like it should be longer, especially since the head is so big. Like, look at it. Something isn't right here. Right? It makes me wonder, did I make the head really big? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. No, I did the right amount of rows, but we're looking at a bobblehead right now. I mean, I feel like the body should be bigger, at least. Anyway, all right, let's just continue with this and see what happens. So 3 more rows, we should come back in, and we're going to attach the body to the head. How that looks like, I have no idea. Okay, so we did the body. I have to stuff the body and then we're going to sew it to the head. Again, I feel like the body needs to be just a little bit bigger so it doesn't look so bobbleheady. But I'm going to go in and put in the rest of my stuffing after I fasten this off. I do have my own stuffing. I did end up putting almost all of the stuffing in the head, but I said, oh, you know, because I want a certain amount of firmness in my dolls, stuffed animals, whatever you want to call this, so I can just use my own stuffing that I bought on Amazon. Alright, so to fasten this off, we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out. And then tighten this up. Okay. Then we're going to stuff the body. Make sure you fill both the legs and the body. Okay, I'm just going to grab more of my stuffing. So funny. We've been binging the Halloween movies recently, so as I'm stuffing this, I feel like I can hear the theme song in my head. And then it just reminds me of Chucky because I binged that before, and we're making a doll, so. Alright, so I filled this, I think, enough. And I'm not going to use the white to sew it just because it's going to really stand out against the body. So I'd rather have the body attached to the head, if that makes any sense. So we're going to sew these two together, but where does the neck go? Oh, we have to sew the neck to the body. Okay. Well, I guess we should do that first. So we have this neck from the first part of the video. And how many, let me see. It's the same number of stitches, which is crazy, but that's because I think we're using the bigger gauge yarn, so it looks a lot bigger. So, but I'm actually gonna just line up my pieces here. Actually, it's only wider. Nope, it's the same. Alright, well, we're just gonna line this up stitch by stitch and see what happens. So. Oh, I guess find the center. That would be a smart idea. I would have put the center at the side of its body. Alright. Pick the side that looks the nicest, that you want in the front. Okay, I'm going to pick this side. Then I'm going to try to find the center. Okay. And then we're going to line up the stitches and sew these two together. All right, so now I'm back around. It's a little stretched now because that body was a lot wider than the, it's the same count of stitching, which is crazy, but I guess because, like I said, the black that I used is a different gauge yarn, so it makes it bigger already. But I just tied off a knot, and I'm just going to stuff this navy in there so I don't have to worry about cutting, plus it adds into my stuffing, and I want to make this kind of tucked away. But now what we're gonna do is sew on our body to our head, and I'm going to use this black yarn. It should be navy for you. If you didn't run out of yarn, comment below if you did. And then we're going to attach this on here. So this is where we are. It looks like for the head it matches the same amount of stitches if we go back 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we can start sewing around here, and it should be the same amount for the head, which is still crazy because, but I'm going to do it. All right, so pick a spot where it's nice and even on your little bulbous head here. I think this is the best. So. And I'm just going to find the center. We're going to sew around the stitch. And we're going to go all the way around with this. Oh, it's not actually the center. Shoot. All right, no worries. We'll just put this back out here. All right. Now we just have to find where this is. It's kind of off to the side. So place this on here. It's about we can just count actually from the center. All right. So here we are. Alright, so I'm almost back around. It looks pretty wonky. This head is just pretty, it's pretty too big, I think. And again, I don't think it helps that I had to use my own yarn, which is of a bigger gauge. Comment below though, let me know how yours went. It's stretched out so far that you can't even see the collar anymore. But that's okay. At this point, I just want to get this done. But once I get around, I'm just going to find a place to tie it off. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go and tie in this thing now. Oh man, this looks like a microphone. Okay, once you tie that, we're gonna just stick the needle in randomly and then cut it flush to the surface, and we've attached our bobblehead. Looks like a snow cone, but it's coming along. Next we're going to do the hair, and that's pretty much it for all the parts, and then we're just going to come back and sew everything all together. Alright, so we have our last body part. Yay! I mean, I've already mentioned it in the first video that Mike Myers' Halloween movies has been scary for me. I like Freddy. He's not bad. I know who he is. I actually had a dream of Freddy. I'm a little disappointed that these kits don't have Freddy in there. But anyway. Alright, I can't find the other side, so I'm just going to have to pull the outside and it's going to roll. Alright. So yeah, Michael has been a scary one for me, so I don't like watching the movie at night really, because then you have to deal with the unknown outside. So anyway, yarn. Alright, let's do a magic ring. You're going to take this yarn, wrap it 3 times around your finger, a little bit of overage so you can clamp it with your middle finger, straighten out the strands, and then we're going to slip the crochet hook under the 3 strands here. I'm going to pull this back out, and we're going to pull this strand underneath these 2. Alright, so pull this out underneath the 2 strands, so we're having something like this. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull this through the loop. Alright, so from here you can remove your middle finger and then slip the rings off of your index. I'm going to go ahead and do the single crochet stitches that it is asking for. And we've done these a bunch of times, so if you need to rewind back, you can do so now. right? Then we're going to pull the loops again to close this magic ring. And we've done this a bunch of times too, so if you need to, you can look back at that. But now I'm going to mark the last stitch we made, count back the number of stitches required for round 1, and then we're going to stick our hook into that, and we're going to do the next stitches for round 2. I always have issues with round 1, just because it's compact in there. Okay, so from here we're going to do the increasing stitches. So let's do that. And if you notice, these steps are fairly the same for these body parts, which is kind of great. Just because if you're learning how to do these, in my videos that some beginners don't understand is that I will go through new steps at least 3 times step by step, and then I go my normal pace after. There's not really any need to go through each individual round, each individual step, step by step, because it takes up a very long time to film, and you know, some are already just trying to get to the point. I've had people that tell me to even stop talking while I'm filming, but at the same time I am doing this while I'm talking, so there's not really much time I am wasting. But if I did everything step by step, this would be such a longer video, so I can't. And you could always rewind back, you can do the playback speed to go faster or slower. So I mean, you know, I do what I can to help, and it's either helpful or it's not. Because I think, you know, without a video for these instructions, you'd be completely lost. At least, you know, someone is trying to help in any way, and you can take that as a good thing or take it, you know, sometimes you just have people that are just not happy with what you do, and it's like, okay, well, you can always go elsewhere. So anyway, for round 2, we've done the increasing stitches. For round 1, we're again going to just go through the parentheses and do it the number of times they ask. So in saying that, rows 3, 4, and 5 are pretty much the same. So I'm going to do those instructions in silence, and then we're going to pop back in, and I'm going to show you how to finish this stuff off, and then we're going to be sewing together the rest of Michael Myers. Alright, so I did the patch of hair, and oh my goodness, this is gonna take a minute, because what we have to do is do 30 strands of hair. This is looking so weird. I feel like the picture on the box is just different from whoever made the instructions. Alright, so let me show you how to do this. So we're going to be using each stitch on this piece right here, and I'm just going to mark the last stitch that we made so I know where we have to end up. So for each stitch, what you're going to do is we're going to make chain stitches, so do that now. Oh, and I don't think you've done chain stitches, so let me show you. I already did one, but so you just yarn over and pull through the loop, and that's it. That's the chain. It looks like the top of the braids that we've been seeing. A loop on this side, loop on this side, and a loop on the back. So each chain stitch has 3 loops. So let's do this again. Yarn over and pull through the loop. So we have another chain here. It looks like a braid. We have a loop here, turn it on its back, and then there's a loop on the back. I call it the hump. Alright, one more time, you guys. So yarn over, pull through the loop, and we have another chain. We have a loop on this side, a loop on this side. You turn it to its back, and then there's a loop in the back here. I call it the hump. Alright, so I already have a number of chains on here. What we're going to do is just complete the rest of the chains. So you can rewind this part as many times as you need to get comfortable with making the chain stitches, but this is a really good way to practice uniformity. So just keep practicing with the chains, and eventually you'll notice that each chain is going to look close to the same as the last one you did. And again, it's a great way to practice, so you can just do this all day, unravel it, and then do it again. But you know, you can do that later. Alright, so I have all of the chains made, and what we're gonna do is we have to count second chain from hook. So from the hook, you don't count this loop already on there, you're just going to count the chain. 1, 2. So we're going to be sticking our hook into the second chain. Most of the time you'll put it in this loop, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the back, and it's just going to give it a nice finish when you're done. So count second chain from the hook. Here's 1, here's 2, turn it on its side here. You can see that back hump. We're going to do a single crochet stitch, so just stick your hook into that back hump there. Okay, let's make sure that I got second chain from hook. This color is so light that it's really hard to see. Okay, so I stuck it into that back hump. You see there's 1 loop on there. You flip it under and you have your crochet hook just under the braid. Alright, we're going to do our single crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. So we have that. Now let's do this again. So stick your hook into that back hump of the next stitch. So here's that chain, turn it on its side, you have that back hump, stick the hook in there, and then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Alright, one more time with you guys. Into the next stitch, turn it to its side, stick the hook into the back hump, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. So if we look at this right now, you go on the underside, you see a nice braid. That's what we're trying to do. And then when we look on this side, you still see a very nice braid. So that's why I do it. The edging is left nice and perfect. So we're just going to complete the rest of these single crochet stitches here. And this is what I'm saying. This is what we're going to have to do for each stitch all the way around this patch of hair, which is so time consuming, so insane. I thought that maybe, oh, you know, at first I thought the body would take forever, but it didn't. So I thought this video would definitely be shorter. I mean, I think it'd still be shorter than the part 1, but it's still going to be a lengthy video because this is a lot of detailing. I guess I could go off here and do this on my own and come back in, but you know, I just like to show that I'm doing it, so you know that I'm doing that with you, and you know, I'm having the same struggles as you. I mean, at a different level, I guess, because I have been doing this for, you know, 30 plus years, maybe. So I was taught when I was still in grammar school. Alright, and then when you get to the end of the chains, then you can, doesn't really say, but I would imagine that you have to do, like, it doesn't really tell you. This is where you stop. But you should do like either a slip stitch or a single crochet stitch, or I'm going to do a slip stitch. Alright, so let's go into the first stitch here, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. To do that, you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all the loops off your hook. So if we attached that, this hair is going to look god awful. I don't know how it ended up looking like that on the box, but alright, so from here we're going to do the chain stitches again. So let's do that. And then again, from second chain from hook, we're going to turn on its side and do a single crochet stitch. And then we're going to do the same thing all the way down the line here. So I'm just going to do this one more time after this, and then I'm going to do the rest in silence, but we pretty much get the idea. It's a very long chain with some single crochet stitches after, attaching it to the circular hair, patch of hair, and then moving on to the next one. So I did one, this is the next one, and then after this I've got to do 28 more. Yeah, it seems like a lot. I mean, I appreciate that this is very detailed. I think the collar was a little useless at the end of it because the head was just so big, and sewing the body onto the head kind of diminished that collar. Okay, so then from here we're gonna do a slip knot. So stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through all loops off of the hook. So now we've attached the second strand here. So I'm gonna go in and do my chain stitches again. Okay, and then from here we're gonna second chain from hook. We're going to do our single crochet stitch using the back hump, all the way down. All right. Then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Stick your hook into the next stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch. All right, so from here, I'm going to do this in my own pace, which is going to be extremely fast, you guys. But you can repeat this section as many times as you need to get comfortable. And then we'll come back and we'll sew on. We've got the arms, the machete, and the hair, and that's it. And then we have to do the sticky eyes and the eyebrows, and we're done. All right, so I finished this mop of a toupee, and we have to finish off. So cut about, well, see, I'm gonna go around the circumference of the plain hair part. This, we're gonna have to use this to sew onto the head. I'm going to go around that part twice. All right, cut it. Then we're going to fasten this off. So yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out, and we are done. Goodness gracious, this took a hot minute. All right, let's go in and put everything together. So sew the neck piece to the body, done. Stuff the body, sew the body to the head, done. Stuff the arms slightly and sew to the body. All right, let's do that next. So I've got my 2 arms that I made from video 1. Uh-oh. I'm going to look at this photo here, and it looks like it's coming off of the neck. So I'm going to stick this just above, like right below the headline, and we want it coming from the side. I guess you want it just under the neck flap. So I'm just going to sew this around the black here. Mine's black because I ran out of the navy, but then I'm going to just sew this around. I don't really do well sewing, you guys, so please just try your best. If you think what I'm doing is not great, don't follow me. I can lead you as far as crocheting, but when it comes to sewing, yeah. Okay, and once I've gotten all the way around, I'm just going to find a moment to tie a knot. Okay, then I'm going to go back into the project and out a random spot so I can hide this tail. Cut just on the surface of the body. And then you can squish it to make that end disappear. But we've attached the first arm. Let's go in and attach the second. I'm excited that this is almost over. I'm not gonna lie. It was cute until I started running out of material, and then I'm secretly kind of freaking out over here because it was real bad. I've seen kits that you run out of material, but at least it's not like it might have been maybe an extra row or two. But this, it was anywhere between 3 rows to what the head was missing, like 6. I don't know. And again, like, I'm not a super loose crocheter, but that was bad for me not to have any yarn left. I mean, I was like questioning my life there for a second. I'm like, did I do something wrong? And I had to make sure I counted it. And sure enough, it was right. It's just not enough fabric. So I think it would be best if you guys, if we all like go on their website. They usually have sections to review. This is definitely an advice for the Dollar Tree ones, but to go in there and state your complaints, because otherwise they're going to keep making the kits the same, and it's going to be a life struggle. So, especially I get feedback as well. Feedback, whether it's good or bad, is always good feedback if you're a company or someone that's trying to do better. So I always take that into account. Some things I cannot help because I don't create these kits, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go see if they do. But I think these are sold out, to be honest. I mean, not sold out in stores. I think they're sold out online. Because last time I saw, you can pick them up in places. So I would go check there. But if they do have their website, what I've seen people do on the Dollar Tree website, they'll comment. They only show a certain amount of kits at a time. I've seen people go in there, and I think they just recycle the post. They just change up the photos. But I've seen people comment about different kits that are not in that website page, to where they'll complain about it. So that's something to also do too, if you don't see this kit in particular there. But anyway, all right. Alright, stick this in one side and then randomly out the other. Careful, even though these are plastic, you can still poke yourself. Squish it. I think this flap is just like permanently like alright, so arms done. Stick felt eyes onto the head. Okay. Alright, so here are the felt eyes that it comes with. Okay, remove these. And this is what I have to also mention about these kits. I don't know who makes these kits, but these felt stickers are kind of flimsy. I just did the Halloween Lilo and Stitch, and it didn't stick very well, and it feels the same with these ones. Anyway, I'm going to take my lopsided Michael Myers at this point, and we're going to just put on the eyes We're gonna make it a little slanted, like he's sad, because, you know, nobody likes him. I don't. Alright, let me see. Let's make it a little wider. Alright, so I've got it kind of tilted down one row. And then we're gonna do the other eye. Okay. Then we're going to stick this on to the other eye. And then tilt it down one row as well. Alright, so stick the felt eyes to the head, make the eye, they said eyebrows. Eyebrows with the brown yarn. So this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, where's my needle?
Alright, y'all, give me one more second. I just gotta attend to the food.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, that was a live. I'm also watching a live at the same time. I thought I put the volume on low. Alright, so I'm going to cut a piece here. I don't need the whole thing. And we're going to have to put on the hair. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have this come in from the back. So stick it in the back and make it come up through the top of the eye. And where should we put this? Okay, right here. I'm just going to place this right here. And we'll tie it to the back. So I'm going to leave some of this here. And then I'm going to, I think I skipped it like 1, 2, okay, so 2 levels up. I'm going to try to make it even on the other side. So I'll put this okay, and then we're gonna go 2 levels up again this way. Alright, we're gonna put this right here, and then I'm gonna try to come back out in that same spot, just around the stitch actually. So here's one end. I'm having it come out right next to it on the other side of that stitch so we can tie it together. And I think this is a great opportunity to hide your knots. And so we've got our dopey little Mike Myers. I'm gonna tie this, double knot it, then I'm gonna cut this about 1 inch or so. We're gonna hide this all in the hair, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, and then we have to sew the hair onto the head. A mop of a hair. We have to center it on the top of the head and select 9 and 10 strands and then flip backward position to the entire the head. Okay, so we have to place this on the center. We're going to use the prettier side, which is not this side. This has the excess piece from the I don't know what I'm saying, magic ring. And then they said place at the oh my god, just stop it. Look at this, this is crazy. Oh my gosh, you've got a problem with your hair, bro. Okay, so I can't really see what's happening underneath here now, so I'm just going to randomly stitch a circle around his head. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to stay on there, and I think that's what matters. Okay, once I feel like I don't know if I already came back around. I gotta figure out a spot to tie a knot. So I think we're all good. Alright, so I'm just gonna go inside the hair, come out through this side here. Okay. And then I'm just gonna tie my knot around the stitch here. Okay. Then I'm going to come into one side and come out randomly out the other. And we're going to cut just under the surface. I didn't realize, I mean, I kind of had an idea that this was going to be a big doll since the head was huge, but man, this is big. All right. And that's it, you guys. So I guess I have to sew his knife to his hand. Then it says take about 9 strands, 3, 5, 7, 9, and we have to throw it back. Listen. Oh my gosh, whatever. Okay. What does it say about the knife? It says absolutely nothing about the knife. But we have one. Alright, well, here's the knife. And I realized that I don't have anything to sew it with. But I'm just going to go ahead and use the black that I have here. And I'm going to sew this flimsy knife onto his arm. I can probably cover up this spacey patch of arm too while I'm at it. When I pulled it all the way out. Double knot. Okay. Maybe put like a pipe cleaner or something in the machete so that it can have some form of stiffness to it. And I just realized that it just happens to be on the right hand. I think he's right-handed. I didn't even bother looking, so hopefully he's right-handed. Right, but just enough to attach this. I mean, just don't want to lose this part, especially if you're giving it away. They can probably fix it if they want. But we are done with this. Yay! And I'm just gonna cut a little piece. Okay, so that is that, you guys. We are done with Mr. Myers. Thank you so much for your cameo, Mike. But comment below, let me know how it went. We had ran out of white yarn as well as the navy, but I think it looks fine. And it's huge. So is it worth how much it is? I would say yes if they gave you enough material. Because this is by far the largest amigurumi I've made. At any rate. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is
Isms by Josie.
Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.